right, well, we have come to our main event, folks. Alvin C. Jacobs, Jr. He is a professional photographer and image activist with roots in motorcycle culture through his father's clubhouse. Alvin has become renowned for documenting pivotal moments in America's social justice movements across Ferguson, Minneapolis, New York, Charlottesville, and Charlotte. His incredible eye and distinctive black and white aesthetic earned him artist in residence status at the Harvey B. Gantt Center, where he created the award-winning Welcome to Brook Hill exhibition, earning him recognition as one of Charlotte Magazine's Charlatans of the Year and Creative Loafing's Best Photographer of 2018. Alvin's work, including his upcoming Black Behind Bars exhibit on black biker culture, amplifies untold stories and creates powerful imagery that sparks dialogue about freedom, community, and mental health. Daybreak Legends, here to give us his take on our Creative Mornings theme of Crossroads. Please welcome to the Carolina Theater stage, photographer, change catalyst, and our fellow charlatan, Alvin C. Jacobs, Jr.
Hey. Good morning. I mean, if you're going to do it, right? I appreciate that. I already know who that is. All right. Here are a few images you may know me from throughout my photography. Power doesn't always look the way you think it should. Who remembers No Justice, No Peace at the Levine Museum? This particular exhibition, in the moment in time in 2016, changed my life. Not just as an artist, not just as a creative, but as an image activist. I didn't really have an idea of how I was going to show up in the culture. I didn't know how I was going to show up in the city, but I was at the right place at the wrong time, or maybe the wrong place at the right time. The exhibition was extended and extended and extended and extended. It was only supposed to run for a few months. But Charlotte needed healing. Charlotte needed conversation. And that was something I will always be proud of. The individuals who helped me move this forward, who helped us move this forward, helped change the culture of Charlotte. Because it's those conversations you don't want to have are the ones you absolutely need to have. Community is whatever you say it is. Yeah. Sometimes the folks who are willing to help you do what you need to do don't look like you. They don't act like you. They don't come from where you come from. But community is exactly what you say it is. Platform. Use it to enrich the lives of others. Use your platform to enrich the lives of the folks around you. Or what are you doing with it? There's so many artists, there's so many actors, there's so many philanthropists that will spend money, but they don't use their platform in ways that make sense to us. Well, why didn't he say anything? Why didn't she say anything? Why didn't they do anything? Well, because people are trying to protect their bottom line, sometimes. But sometimes they're also scared. Platform. Jamie Foxx was down in Minneapolis. He used his platform. He could have lost every job he had going forward, but he used it. Innocence. Who did you used to be? Remember when you were younger, when you were starting out, when your career was burgeoning, when you were just really getting started? Who did you used to be? What were you? Who were you around? Sometimes it's youth. This image came from the exhibition at the Harvey B. Gantt Center, Welcome to Brook Hill. A little different direction in art and creativity, right? But powerful nonetheless. Long arm. The relationship you have with law enforcement can be based upon where you fit within the system. See, just obey, just comply, How many of us are adults in here who have been told to obey and have been told to comply? And depending on the conversation, who it's coming from, it feels different. You'll tell a grown man what to do? Tell a grown woman what to do because this is where you happen to work? Oh, okay. Let's see how that works. So if you've never seen militarized police forces in the United States of America, it doesn't feel good. I know it looks like, well, they should have just complied, right? You don't want that in your city. You don't want that in your neighborhood. I know it's okay, depending on who you are and, again, your relationship to authority. But I'm not quite certain we need all that patrolling our city streets. But, that's just me. And allies. There's a difference between an ally, a co-conspirator, and an accomplice. Remember, back in 2016, we had allies. I'm an ally. I'm an ally. Well, that's cool. That's cute. But that could also be a passive situation. What are you willing to do? See, an accomplice is going to get on with you, right? If it goes down, it's going down with all of us. And I learned that as an artist, there were individuals who put themselves on the front line, and that gave me courage. See, I used to think that as a man in my privilege, that when there was a door to walk through, right, I was supposed to walk through the door and then usher in everybody else. Well, that was before I found out my purpose and what I was supposed to do with my privilege, going back to one of the original images. I'm supposed to, as a man and in my privilege and as an image activist, I'm going to open the door and stand on the side of the door and make sure you get through the door. Because, see, if I'm the man and I'm going through and I'm in, come on, let's go, you're catching hell on the other side. That's not safety. That's an ally, but it's not an accomplice. Nah. This is what it looks like sometimes. See some white folks, see some brown folks, see some folks that don't look like you from different communities, and they're willing to get it how they get it, and they're willing to stand up for you. I remember I was in Asheville, and I was dressed how I normally dress. I'm fly as a 50-year-old black man can be. And the guy said, I can talk to you. This is during a protest. I can talk to you. You're civilized. Until he said that. And it was interesting because he said, I can tell you're not from here. Oh, okay. How? Well, first off, by the way you're dressed. Secondly, you're downtown. This is Asheville. Okay. There's some things in our communities that are unspoken. Who's ever heard of a sundown town? Yeah. It's not just below the Mason-Dixon line. I grew up in Rockford, Illinois, I grew up about a mile away from the oldest Harley-Davidson dealership in the world. I could walk to it every day. It was in my neighborhood. It was in my community. But there were some spaces that just weren't as welcoming as, you would like them to be. In Asheville, they always say keep it weird, but that was really weird. Historical. How it began has a potential to look completely different along the process. See, how it began, it might not end that way. It may look completely different from the way it's going to end up. Brook Hill. That's how it kind of started. Doesn't look that way now. But it's a process. It's changing. Some will say for the better, some will say for the worse, but it's definitely changing, and the process is going to change. Our community is going to change. Your thought process is going to change, and that's okay. There was a saying that says, if you think the same as at 40 as you did at 30, you wasted 10 years of your life. Resistance. It will occur, but it can also be beautiful. There will always be pushback. Who works out in here? Who runs, jogs, lifts a little weights, does a couple of sit-ups here and there, right? To build a muscle, it's resistance. You got to put it through some things, right? But you end up looking better, feeling better, being better, but it's resistance. And you look on the meter and you can raise the resistance or you can lower the resistance. The more the resistance, the more work. It can be beautiful. It might hurt a little bit. Yeah. I'm not sure if that particular state police officer was 6'12", or that was just a very small woman. But perspective has a lot to do with photography and a lot to do with the way that we look at life. She was about 5'5", and he was about my height, but he looks gargantuan, doesn't he? Perspective in both photography and in life. It's going to really help you work through some things that would normally feel difficult. So I'm just going to read through this a little bit. This is who I am today, right? Like, that's how you knew me. Those are some of the images that you can recognize me from on the street or, in a media publication. But who I am today is a man, a brother, son, father, and artist. Not an exhaustive description by any means, but it's more credit than I've previously given myself. I can't afford to make a mistake. Who in here knows that if they mess up, it's a wrap? It's over with. It's over with. And I'm the hardest on myself in that, because if I make a mistake, they're going to find out. Remember that meme? They're going to know. I've convinced myself that I needed to be perfect and squeaky clean, because you have to be perfect to have a voice, right? Who's ever been on Twitter specifically, and you've seen a photograph and somebody had this strong post and this really strong opinion, and then there's a photo and it says, "This you?" They got me. Enter the crossroads. In every handmade diagram, crossroads aren't drawn parallel, and the longer you're on the incorrect path, the harder it is to recognize the right one. See, the longer you're on that road that you're not supposed to be on, the more difficult it is to recognize the right path. And they're not drawn parallel. So crossroads are doing this. They're not doing this. They're not running parallel. So if you're on the wrong path, you're losing sight of where the right one is. You don't know if it's right or left or in the middle. Roads can end up so far in the opposite direction, you lose sight of the other one. And there's this big sign that says, "Welcome to lack of successville. Population you." And the whole road to success thing is relative and may or may not have anything to do with feel-good, inspirational social media content. Which reminds me, if I post something on Facebook or Instagram or X, Twitter, however you want to call it, and you respond, and they come for you, I don't live my life in the comment section. If they come for you, you're on your own. I'll post it and I'll just keep it moving. I never respond. I will never help you, because you said what you said and I said what I said. Kind of remember that. You don't have to fight for your life and what you believe in on social media in these comment sections. Say what you said, feel how you feel, and keep it moving. I see everything. I'll look at it, but that's real life. But crossroads. My father transitioned 2 years ago, and my choice was either to remember the way that he lived or to remember the way that he died, because my heart couldn't focus on both. Choked up just a bit. And with the loss of a loved one, we have to choose to either miss them or be mad at them. But the reality is that sometimes it's going to be both. Where I am today on a journey which is completely different direction from where I started is my ability to make myself invaluable to the culture that I love. Developing a unique bridge between the human experience and, for example, an inanimate object, by using art as a language to unite similarities instead of differences. That's why a lot of us are here, because we're artists, we're creatives, we love art, we love creativity, we love freedom. It's a privilege to be here at 8 o'clock in the morning, to be able to get off work, or, to be able to get a sitter, or, be able to have someone else, kind of cover our task for a little bit. So I appreciate you in that regard. But privilege is real. America is home to millions of ideas, but our common thread, regardless of political affiliation, is that we are Americans bound by country. And when I say Americans, I'm doing the air quotes. And whatever work you do, you cannot successfully disguise your attitude towards the public if you feel superior at all, because it will seep out through the work. Who's heard of Charlie Bird Parker? He's a musician. I know Harvey has. Charlie said, to master the instrument, master the music, then forget all of that shit and play. Which is similar to the way that I now understand the process of creating art. Lending itself to looking at problems as issues I should face into or not lean away from. Let's look around the room for a second. My non-traditional approach to response to diversity, right? DEI, diversity and inclusion, is I'm excited, but I don't feel superior. I never have. I'm excited by the diversity in motorcycle culture, and I open my mind up to the differences. And the source of this is my sensitivity and closeness to my social environment. A lot of us are comfortable and we can move around because we're around people that we know, but a lot of folks in here don't know anyone in here. You came because this is a beautiful theater. You came because this is a beautiful day. And some of you might know me and we're friends. And again, I appreciate that. In reality, I spent the last 24 years behind the bars of a motorcycle. I've been riding for 24 years. I'm 50 now. But the last 35 years behind the proverbial bars of my own mental prison. See, that's where black behind bars comes from. It's this double entendre. I'm behind the bars of a motorcycle, but also there's this mental prison that I placed myself in. There was no key, there was no guard. I just placed myself there because they're gonna know. They're gonna find out. This path I'm currently on has helped me to realize the important things, or when the important things in my life are out of balance and priority. Sometimes the slightest upgrade, I'm going to slow this down. Sometimes the slightest upgrade in responsibility is all that's required to capsize an already waterlogged lifeboat. The smallest, you were already fighting for your life, and now that thing done capsized and the sharks are circling. Not knowing why certain aspects of my life have been increasingly challenging has led to decades of frustration and prolonged procrastination. We've done business in here. Some of us have worked together. Sometimes I'm in my own way. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm going to come through. I wrote this today. Because we're talking Crossroads. The choice of being stubborn, unorganized, and possibly possessing challenges can make a person a prime candidate for all the difficult things in life, if even by default. Not being prepared is going to make life break bad for you. Not having it together is going to make things difficult and challenging. That's how I've been living my life. I don't know what life is without struggle. I don't know what it's like for it not to be rough. When it's easy, I'm from Illinois. I feel like everything is a setup. If it's too smooth, I get uncomfortable and I feel like the other shoe is going to drop. And it usually does. Or I take my shoe off and I drop it, but either way. But this is what I learned. One of my greatest frustrations, right, has been the pickleball game of anger between what I believed someone had done to me and the disappointment in what I had allowed to happen to myself. So at first I'm like, oh, you tried me. But nah, I kind of let you. I let you, so that's on me. Photography, though, has changed my life. It's changed my life. Art has saved my life. Capturing the human experience is vital to my being now. Even when obstacles pile up and I can't deny my purpose, my Crossroads is the life I'm finally embracing as my reality and unapologetically, regardless of my past. Black Behind Bars is my latest photography exhibition. It opens April 25th at the Gantt Center. The work over the next 6 months will highlight black motorcycle culture, the freedom of the open road, and throttle therapy as a tool in connection with mental health. But in closing, I don't even know how much time I have. I've just been talking. I don't know where the clock at. Okay. I'll remind each of you, and this isn't the I see potential in you, I see potential in you, whatever that commercial was, but that your life experiences are valid. Everything you've been through makes sense. No one gets a chance to invalidate what you've experienced. If it's been rough, it's been rough. People tell you to stop crying and just pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and you've heard this before. What if you aren't wearing any boots? And now with the tariffs, those boots are becoming increasingly expensive. I know what I paid for these. I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford them next week. I don't know, but you're going to work it out. But each of your experiences are valid on this crossroad, and now you're good enough. You're good enough today. I never felt that I was. I always needed another test. I always needed more time. There have been artists in here and creatives in here and business persons in here that have allowed me to become my authentic self because I didn't have to hide who I was. There's some people in here who really know me, and I love you for that. I can be vulnerable. I can be broke. I can be frustrated. I can be in pain. I can be going through it. I don't have to put on, the armor of God. Because sometimes I can't find it. I'm just struggling. But that's how I found my genuine self, through creativity and art. And that's how I found some of the best friends of my life. See, I believe that our day ones are the people we didn't have any choice to meet. Our friends in second grade, third grade, fourth grade. Your day twos are the folks you met as an adult. If I don't like you, I don't like you. There ain't nothing you can do about it. I'm not forced to go to school with you. I don't have to work with you. I don't have to live next to you. I can move around now. I have freedom. So our day twos, those are our people. Those are our folks, man, that we rock with. Those are the ones we can call. I'm maybe not the help you move over pizza and a beer situation, because, again, I'm 50. But I can help you organize, how we're going to work this thing out. But I just really want to remind you guys that you are enough, and there is going to be a crossroad, but you have to pay attention to where you are on that road, or you're going to lose sight of the right path. Moving doesn't mean you're moving correctly. When you work out, movement, just move. Well, make sure you're moving in the right way, because you're eventually going to run out of energy. You're going to run out of time. You're going to get a little slower. Things are going to start looking different and feeling different and smelling different. Try to utilize that energy while you've got that energy on the right path. Be efficient in your work. Be efficient in your creativity. Say no sometimes, and be stern with that no. It's okay. I say no more times than I say yes to myself, because I know where my capacity lies. Sometimes I just want to make you happy. Sometimes I just want to do it. But if I'm not happy, the crossroads is, now I regret the relationship. Now I let you get over on me. The charge is to realize that you're enough, and to recognize which road you're on that crossroad. Start paying attention to where you are and where you feel. Some of us are old enough to remember MapQuest, and again, how we used to travel like pirates. Flipping those pages back, right? Stapled. I don't know how we got anywhere. That was rough. But pay attention to that road. And it's okay to go left or right. Just make sure that you're moving with efficiency. Crossroads. Thank you.
Alvin C. Jacobs Jr., everybody.
Amazing. Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Amazing.